Hello everyone, we're outside in the garden today because it's very hot and it's a lovely day. Can you hear the birds singing? Maybe you can hear the cockerels crowing. You might even be able to hear a sheep. Javi was asking me last week if I had animals, but they're not mine, Javi. They're in the house next door. They have lots of sheep and they're always baa in all the time. So it's funny to hear them. If you hear them, you'll know what they are. Okay, it's math time. So this week we're continuing on with our measuring. Today is going to be the last day that we're going to do measuring. So I've got a cool activity for you to do. But before we start, I'd like to give you a little quiz on your times tables. Are you ready to start? Brain switched on, chip on, in? Okay. 7 times 10. 6 times 5. 12 times 12. That's a difficult one. 8 times 9. 3 times 7. And the last one. Do you want tricky or easy? Okay, go on then. Easy. 3 times 5. Okay. Are your brains warmed up? Are you ready to go? Let's start. Right then. I'm going to sit down here. Now, so we've been doing measuring. Last week you measured lots of things. I had lots of great videos and pictures of you guys measuring lots of things. The first thing we did measure last week is we used our rulers. We found the 0, the centimeter side, and we were measuring. So we know that, we saw this last week. 10 millimeters, the little ones, 10 millimeters equals to 1 centimeter. And you can see that on your ruler, the 10 little lines equals to 1 centimeter. And then we know that 100 centimeters equals to 1 meter. And I have my meter stick here that I made out of paper. 1 meter. Very good. And then, today what we're going to be looking at is kilometers. And it's called km. And kilometers because it has a kilo meter, km. And we know that 1,000 meters, 1,000 of these equals 1 kilometer. So we know that we use our millimeters and our centimeters to measure small things. I'm going to measure my little dog here. Let's see, put it on the 0. And my dog measures 2 centimeters, 5 millimeters, or 25 centimeters. He's very tiny. We also use centimeters to measure bigger things. Here I have my magazine. It's from Japan. It's very heavy. Put it on 0. And this one is 29.5 centimeters. So it's 29 centimeters and 5 millimeters. So we can use our ruler to measure them. Now, if it's bigger things, like you guys last week were measuring benches, tables, cars, then you need to use meters, okay? Because it would take way too long for you to measure it in centimeters and millimeters. So you use meters. And lots of you had these measuring tapes. And they're very, very handy when you need to measure longer or bigger things, okay, when you're measuring length. So today we're even going to measure, well, we're not going to measure actually because that would be way too much, but what we're going to do is we're going to be thinking of our kilometers. So 1,000 meters equals to 1 kilometer or kilometer, okay, km. You can see here that I put, so it's units, tens, hundreds, thousands. So it's 1,000. Can you see that? Perfect. Right. So today, what do I want you to do? Well, what I would like you to do is I'd like you to think of a place. Actually, I'd like you to think of 5 places. And I'd like you to try and estimate how many kilometers, the distance, how many kilometers you think it is to get to that place from your house. Okay? Can you think? So the distance, we might walk it, probably not though, but we can go in the car, and when we go in the car we measure the distance from one place to another place in kilometers. Okay? I know Miranda last week, she cycled, her mom told me that she cycled about 2 kilometers. So she cycled 2,000 meters. 2 kilometers equals 2,000 meters. And that is quite a lot if you're on your bike or if you're walking. But if you're in a car, that's not a lot at all. So what I'd like you to do today is, I would like you to think of 5 places. You could do like this. I put place, estimate, and distance. So I'd like you to think of 5 places. I've put down 2 here just to get us started. I've put down number 1 as San Juan del Rio, and number 2 I've put down Paris, because I'd like to go to Paris. So we're going to estimate. Do you remember what estimate is? It's to make a very good guess. It's to think of what you know and how far you know things are, and to make a good guess using all of the things you know about meters, centimeters, kilometers, okay? So I'm going to make a guess that San Juan del Rio from Tequisquiapan is about, I think it's about 17 kilometers. That's my guess. How about Paris? How far do I think Paris is from Tequisquiapan? Maybe 7,500 kilometers, because they have to go across Mexico and across the ocean. So maybe it's about that many kilometers, which is very, very far. It's a long distance, okay? So how do we find out what the real distance is? Well, guys, what you need to do, you might need your mommy and daddy's help, but I'm sure they won't mind. You need to get your laptop or your computer or your iPad or even a phone, and you need to go to Google. Go into Google and you need to write this in the search engine, in the place with the little magnifying glass, you'll see. And you need to say, how far is it to wherever you want to go? So in my case, I want to go to San Juan del Rio. San Juan. From, that's wherever you live. Where do you live? Do you live in Ezequiel Montes? Do you live in Tequisquiapan? Do you live in San Juan del Rio? I live in Tequis, so I'm going to write Tequis. So you write that in Google. How far is it to San Juan from Tequis? And you press enter. And it will tell you. So let me have a look. San Juan to Tequis. The real answer, the real distance is actually from Tequis 21 kilometers. How was my estimate? Was it accurate? It was more or less. It wasn't too bad. Okay, let's check Paris. How far is it to Paris from Tequisquiapan, from Tequis? Let me see. Wow, I was well off, boys and girls, because it's actually to Paris is 9,150 kilometers. I hope you can see that. 9,150 kilometers. So my estimate was not very accurate at all. It was over. Well, it was about 2,000 kilometers out, wasn't it? So that wasn't a very good estimate. But I'd like you guys to try, okay? There's the question that you need to put into Google. And just pick 5 places. Remember, be adventurous. You can pick any place in the world that you would like to visit. And just I want you to think about how far the distance is and how many meters, because there's 1,000 of these meters in 1 kilometer. Okay guys, that's your task for today. Have a wonderful day. And I'm gonna enjoy the garden. Just for a moment. See you later. Bye.